lateral delt lifts, and then you
This
got to
way
do your
too,
overhead shoulder press.
Yeah.
And
You cry about it.
well, so I started at the gym. The gym was the first place I started because soon after we had this conversation, the actors went on strike, and so James and I did not talk for several months, and we had no contact with the studio for the several months, and so all I had was my own really decision. James had very kindly said, "You're in good shape, but I want you to work on your shoulders." So it sounded to me like a pretty, minor request. He didn't say, "Look, you're a skinny guy and you got to put on a lot of weight." But that was my thought. Was as in Christopher Reeve's words, I've been a stringed bean my whole life, and Superman is not a stringed bean. And so I decided that I wanted to, as soon as I could, put on as much weight as I could reasonably and healthily. And I had sort of wanted to do that my whole life. I've always felt a little bit skinny, like I couldn't quite fill out a t-shirt, and so I was really excited about that. But in that new level of gym commitment, 5-6 days a week, 2.5 hours, 3 hours in the gym, which I'd never done before in my life, all my time was spent eating or thinking about eating or digesting or in the gym or sleeping after the gym. But in the gym, in my hour, 90 minutes or 2 hour mark, I felt deeply alone because in that moment it is just you and the weights. And I had a great trainer, but he was only on FaceTime, so I could turn him off if I really needed to. But ultimately, when you take on a physical transformation like that, it's just you against your own mind, and whether you're going to get that extra rep in or do that extra set or stay those extra 20 minutes to do your shoulders at the end of a long push day, in that moment you feel very alone, even while you're at the gym with other people. And so that was the first moment that I felt like I tapped into a central thing about Superman, which is that he struggles with feeling lonely and feeling isolated and alienated from the people he loves the most and the people he wants to be closest to. Lois and his colleagues at the Daily Planet and his adopted parents and his birth parents, and ultimately humanity. He wants desperately to be a part of them and to be connected to them, and he knows and feels that he ultimately isn't quite like them and fears that he isn't connected to them. And that, I thought, what a universal human experience, to be surrounded by people and to feel lonely. So that was my first way into the character.